Hi everybody, Mike from the Rural Montana family here. I guess we're about the only YouTube channel that has not addressed the elephant in the room. Well, no, not this one. No. This elephant right here. The recall about the Chevy Bolt. So we finally got our letter from GM about the 2020 Chevy Bolt recall. Let's dive into it. So everybody has probably heard of the Chevy Bolt recall by now. I mean, it's been all over YouTube and the news channels anywhere and everywhere, making the Bolt look really bad, even though it's a really good car. So far, we have been ignoring this recall because it has not affected us in the beginning. It was for the 2017 through somewhere in the 2019s until the battery pack changed, and I guess the production of the battery pack moved from Korea to the United States, and it was assumed that battery packs that were built in the United States were not affected. And it started out with recommendations to use Hilltop Reserve. If you have a 2020 or newer Chevy Bolt, you might not know what that is because we don't have that. That was in the earlier Bolts, so you could not charge to 100%. It would charge, I believe, to 90 or 95%, so that if you would go downhill, your car actually can use regen to slow you down, which you obviously can't if you charge to 100%. This went away with the 2020 Bolt, as in the 2020 Bolt, you were able to adjust the state of charge to however many percent you wanted to charge it to. So I believe it's from, you can choose anything between 50 to 100% or something like that. So the Hilltop Reserve does no longer exist in the newer Bolts, and the newer Bolts also have a larger battery pack, and it was assumed that those battery packs are fine. Well, it turned out not to be that way. At some point, a 2020 or newer Chevy Bolt caught on fire with a newer battery pack, and at that point, we had to assume that probably there's a defect in that battery pack as well. So up to that point, though, I think GM issued like 3 different recalls and kind of changed things around several times. And there was all kinds of weird stuff going on, and it was dragging out forever and ever. And really, as a Bolt owner, it did not make you feel good at all how GM was handling that recall. At the end, the recommendations were park your Bolt 50 feet away from anything, which nobody can do that. So that leaves your car completely useless, and that is really sad that GM would even do something like that. I think they were just trying to push liability off to the consumer rather than taking over and do what needs to be done. And a lot of people say, well, LG produced the battery pack, so it's LG's fault. Well, I did not buy a car from LG. I bought a car from GM, and I'm a customer of GM, not of LG. So it is GM's problem and not LG's problem. And that is just a fact of life for all automotive manufacturers. When they buy a product from somebody else and put it in their car, that the OEM then has to deal with whomever they bought the product from if there is an issue. That's just how it is. It's not the consumer that has to go to that other company and deal with it. And GM handled that very badly, I think. And so after all this dragging out forever and ever, eventually, as one of the later models, Bolt with the new battery pack caught on fire, the recall was expanded to every Bolt ever built. Production was stopped, sales was stopped, and guess what? We wanted to put our Bolt on Turo, and well, we can't even do that because it has an open recall, and Turo does not allow to list any car that has an open recall. So the recall has to be done first before we can list that. But there was no solution to do the recall, and Chevy said kind of like there won't be a solution until they're 100% satisfied with the LG battery packs that they can get. And so this was like an open-ended thing that could drag out for who knows, another year or so, because they have to produce, I don't know, there's 150, 200,000 bolts out there. So they have to produce all these battery packs. And it's already an issue for the OEMs to get battery packs to begin with. So that didn't make us feel any better at all. But all that said, up to that point, we still have not received a recall letter from GM. So we were gone last week on our trip to Oregon with our 200,000 mile Tesla Model S. And I'm going to put a link at the top here so you can go see some of those videos if you haven't seen them yet. But when we came back, the letter was here. So we got the letter and we haven't opened it yet. So let's open this and see what it says in here. Several of you may have already received this letter. So this notice applies to your vehicle, lists the VIN number. It says September 2021. It doesn't list a specific date. It's September 23rd as I'm recording this video. This notice is sent to you in accordance with the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act. General Motors has decided that a defect which relates to motor vehicle safety exists in certain 2020 model year Chevrolet Bolt EV vehicles. So here they only talk about in certain 2020s. But as we know, they're all affected from 2017 to the model year 2022. So kind of weird. But as a result, GM is conducting a safety recall. We apologize for this inconvenience. However, we are concerned about your safety and continued satisfaction with our products. Well, I don't know how much concern they really have, as this has been dragging out for so long already. And I would have assumed by now 2017s through 2019s already would have been addressed and the repairs started on it. But it drug out for so long that even a 2020 or later Bolt caught on fire. So not really much of a concern from GM in my opinion. Then important, your vehicle is involved in GM safety recall N212345940. This letter contains important interim safety precautions that should be followed until the final recall remedy is performed on your vehicle. I'm kind of wondering at this point, what are those safety precautions? Like park it 50 feet away from everything? Why is your vehicle being recalled? The high voltage batteries in some vehicles may pose a risk of fire when charged to full or very close to full capacity. Experts from GM and LG have identified the simultaneous presence of two manufacturing defects in the same battery cell as the root cause of these battery fires. Alright, so far so good. What will we do? Parts to repair your vehicle are not currently available. Oh, darn. I mean, I gotta use my car, right? So, I don't know. But when parts are available, your Chevrolet dealer will replace defective lithium-ion battery modules in your vehicle with new lithium-ion battery modules. But the service will be performed for you at no charge. Okay, we hope so. We are working as quickly as possible to correct this condition. When parts are available, we will send you another letter asking you to take your vehicle to your Chevrolet dealer to have your vehicle serviced. You can also check the status of this recall at mygm.com recalls. So much, really nothing new here. We all know that they have no information on how to fix it. Really, I mean, they're replacing the battery packs, but they don't have any packs, so I don't know. Now, let's see. What should you do? While we prepare to conduct this recall, you should take the following interim steps. Okay, I'm afraid to hear all this. First, set your vehicle to a 90% state of charge limitation using target charge level mode. Instructions on how to do this are available on Chevy.com Bolt EV Recall. If you are unable to successfully make these changes or do not feel comfortable making these changes, GM is asking you to visit your dealer to have these adjustments completed free of charge. I hope everybody that drives a 2020 or newer knows how to adjust that, because basically you want to keep your battery in any of those EVs. I mean, there's this whole thing out there. What is best for the battery? Best for any lithium battery is basically between 20 and 80%. Unless you need more to travel, that's when you charge to 100%. But if you can stick to between 20 and 80 for your daily driving, that is probably the best way to go. Also, obviously, it is the safe way to go like that. Since this whole recall started, we have charged our Bolt several times, probably a handful of times to 100%, because we were traveling and we needed the full range of the Bolt. All right, now, second, charge your vehicle more frequently and avoid depleting your battery below approximately 70 miles or 113 kilometers of remaining range where possible. Okay, again, if you pretty much keep it between the 20 and 80%, which is a general recommendation for all electric cars, you're probably going to be fine, according to this anyway. Third, park your vehicle outside immediately after charging and do not leave your vehicle charging indoors overnight. Well, that is quite difficult to do for some people. For us, our car sits outside, our car charges outside, so it's not indoors at all. But for a lot of people, the charger is in their garage. And a lot of people that drive a lot of miles every day, they need to charge for many hours, 8 hours possibly. So what are they expecting these people to do? I mean, you come home at, I don't know, 8 p.m. and you park your car in the garage and you plug it in, and it will have to go for maybe 8 to 10 hours. So do they really need to get up in the middle of the night? I mean, this would be okay if I have to do this for a few days, maybe a week or two. But we don't even know when this recall is going to be performed. We don't know when they have batteries. This could be several more months, even more than that possibly. So I think this is somewhat unreasonable to ask. I do understand where they come from. And so if you're charging indoors and you have a permanent installed EVSE, you would have to, I guess, charge in there and pull it out. If you have a portable EVSE, you can obtain extension cords. If you have like an EMA 1450, you could obtain a 50 amp RV extension cord and run that out the door of your garage and plug in outside. But there is additional cost. These extension cords are not cheap. They're couple $100. Plus, if you do not have a portable EVSE that can charge your car to where you need it to be in the morning overnight, then you're stuck. The EVSE provided with the Chevy Bolt is slow, is rated at 110 volts, even though it can be plugged into 220. It's still not going to charge as fast as anything that is like an EMA 1450, where you can max out the 30 amps that the Bolt can charge at. So this may create a lot of extra cost and inconvenience for many people, obviously. Do you have questions? If you have questions or concerns that your dealer is unable to resolve, please contact the Chevrolet EV Concierge team at 833 EV Chevy. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 Eastern Time, or Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. My Chevy dealer probably has no answers whatsoever. They sold maybe a handful of these bolts. They probably just tell us to call this concierge line. So probably don't even bother to ask your Chevy dealer unless you know they really do know stuff about this other than what it says in the letter here. So, if after contacting your dealer and the Chevy EV Concierge team you are still not satisfied, we have done our best to remedy this condition without charge and within a reasonable time. Okay. You may wish to write the Administrator, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and then there's their address in Washington, or call toll-free Vehicle Safety Hotline, or go to www.safercar.gov. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration campaign ID number for this recall is 21V650. Yeah, so if I call Chevy and they can't help me because they can't, they have no timeline for this. So if I call somebody else, can they help me? Can they do something? No, because they cannot produce batteries either. What are they gonna do? I mean, there is just no way to make this safe per se at this point. It is as safe as it is, and calling whoever you want to call doesn't make it any safer, or probably not speed it up either. I don't think. I think we're pretty much stuck with what it is, and we can just hope that LG and GM can figure out a battery and produce enough of those quickly to resolve this issue. So, federal regulation requires that any vehicle lessor receiving this recall notice must forward a copy of this notice to the lessee within 10 days. So, okay, the usual. And then it's signed by Regina A. Cardo, Vice President, Global Product Safety and Systems. All right, that was the first two pages. There's another page. Holy moly. At Chevrolet, it is our mission to keep you, our customer, at the center of everything we do. It hasn't been like that, it seems, at least not with this recall, and especially the people with the 2017 to 2019 Bolts. I'm sure they don't feel that way. To that end, we are writing you today to hear from Chevrolet directly about your vehicle. General Motors is voluntarily expanding the current Chevrolet Bolt EV recall to cover the remaining 2019 and all 2020 to 2022 model year vehicles, including the Bolt EUV. In rare circumstances, LG batteries supplied to GM for these vehicles may have manufacturing defects, which increase the risk of fire. They always talk about rare circumstances. As far as we know, every battery pack has that manufacturing defect. It sounded like it was going down the line at LG, and somewhere something did go wrong and every battery pack is affected. So, I mean, not everyone will catch on fire. That's probably the rare part, but it sounds like every battery pack has that problem in there. But anyway, Out of an abundance of caution, GM will replace defective lithium-ion battery modules in Chevrolet Bolt EVs and EUVs with new modules as parts become available. To provide you with peace of mind, your battery will receive an 8-year, 100,000-mile limited parts warranty. So I guess as we're getting a new battery, we start over with the warranty, which is good, especially for the people that have a 2017 to 2019. They're a few more years in, they have a few more miles. We're just a year in and only have a little over 12,000 miles. So for us, not such a big deal, but it adds an additional year of warranty and 10,000 additional miles of warranty roughly for us. We are working aggressively with LG to increase production as soon as possible. We will notify you when replacement parts are ready. For your safety, we are asking you to immediately do the following. I'm interested if this matches the other part of the letter. First, set your vehicle to a 90% state of charge limitation using target charge level mode. Okay, that's the same, don't need to read it all. Second, charge your vehicle more frequently and avoid depleting your battery below 70 miles, same thing. Third, park your vehicles outside immediately after charging. Okay, the 3 things that they recommend here match the 3 things in the other recall letter. We understand that trust is earned and not given, and we are committed to regaining your trust. So they already know that they have to regain our trust. They know they have lost it because I would say they did not handle this well at all. We know you have a lot of questions. Our team is working hard to get you answers, and we plan to be in regular communication. Interesting. Don't know what that means because in the recall letter, it certainly said you have to call and ask questions. Here they say they will stay in regular communication. Please visit Chevy.com, Bolt EV Recall, contact Chevrolet EV Concierge, and there's all the times again. Chevrolet's transition to an all-electric future is predicted on our relentless desire to do the right thing. Well, so far, and a lot of people complain when I probably say this, in the last about 3 decades, they really have not shown any effort in that direction. They abandoned as soon as possible any EV manufacturing and helping us go green towards a sustainable and cleaner future. So, yeah. And I want to thank you for putting your trust in our hand. Well, I have no choice. I got a Bolt, so... Okay, a lot of information there. How bad is the Bolt really? Okay, like I said, we have been driving it. If you're watching our videos, you know we have been taking it on trips. We charge to 100% as needed for those trips. We drop it below 20% as needed for those trips. We have not followed any guidelines because officially we just got this letter here within the last week. And within the last week we haven't even driven the Bolt because we were on a trip with the Tesla. So that said, some information about the Bolt and the potential of it catching on fire. A lot of outlets have been actually saying the Bolt has a more likely chance to catch on fire than an internal combustion engine car. That is not true. Nobody ever made the calculation or really said how they come up with that. They just said that, oh, it's more likely now. No, it's actually still 5 times less likely to catch on fire. And the only channel that I found is the Now You Know channel with Zach and Jesse. They actually made the calculation. And a gas car or a gas and diesel car, internal combustion engine car, has a chance of 0.07%. 0.07% to catch on fire. While the Chevy Bolt has a chance of 0.014% to catch on fire. So they made the calculation, and so a Chevy Bolt is still less likely to catch on fire than a gas car. The NFPA, the National Fire Protection Agency, has a report that you can find online. I'm going to put a link down in the description. From I believe 2018, there were 212,500 cars that caught on fire. And this caused 560 civilian deaths. What they consider civilian is if a firefighter or a police officer or any federal agency officer got killed, they're not included in that number. But 560 people got killed in car fires. And there were 1,500 injuries to civilians as well due to car fires in 2018. Now, that said, in 2018, we have 60% less car fires than we had in 1980. And from 1980 to now, we have many more cars, we drive many more miles, but we actually have 60% less fires. So we're doing really good. We have more cars, more miles, many less fires, 60% less compared to 1980. So that is pretty great. So I would say we're still pretty safe in our Chevy Bolt. There's only so much one can do that owns a Bolt, and you just got to deal with it the best you can. You may want to contact your Chevy dealer that you purchased your Bolt from, or a Chevy dealer that actually works on the Bolt that is close to you, and kind of start pushing the issue so that hopefully you get a battery soon, because your dealer might not even think about this at all, and it's not a priority to them. So they may not even want to prepare or pre-order any of this because they are not aware that you will show up and need one. So you may want to call your Chevy dealer and say, hey, I need a battery pack. When can you get me a battery pack? How soon can you get me in? We already know the answer right now, but if we're making the dealers aware of that we want to come in, hopefully they have an interest in you as a consumer and want to take care of you, and hopefully order battery packs or put pre-orders in if they can. It always depends. It's a little bit tricky to order parts for a recall. Commonly, a repair order has to be started and a VIN has to be provided to the OEM in order to receive parts like that. So that said, you may want to just call them and see so that they know you want to go there and have that replaced, and they possibly already can submit and say, hey, we have a customer here, we need a battery pack. So that said, for now, we probably will drive our Bolt as usual. Our daily driving, like I said, we keep the battery between 20 and 80%, as that is not a big deal for our daily driving. Our car is outside at all times when it gets charged, and at all times, period. We don't have a garage. So if we do travel, well, we might still charge to 100% as we need to, unless we can make it with 80%. But if we need to, we will charge to 100%. We will go below 20%. It's not like I'm going to go out and rent the car so I can leave my Bolt sitting at home. I will take that chance, as the chance is still much lower for this Bolt to catch on fire than it is for an internal combustion engine car. In any event, if you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you know other people that might be interested in this content, please click share down below and share it with them. You can also share it on your social media if you'd like to. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you get notified about our future videos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.